G'day geeks, my name is Chris, and in this video we're talking about Superman. As you can tell by my shirt, it's going to be a very Superman-centric video. So I've got a few Superman goodies, comics and books and action figures recently, so I thought I'd put them all together and make the Man of Steel the focus. So it's kind of on theme. I'm very excited about the new James Gunn Superman film, which isn't too far away. So I thought it ties in quite nicely to that as well. So we're going to be talking about a couple of different figures, a couple of different books. Let's get into it. Let's talk about my favourite hero, Superman. Here we have Lex Luthor on the left and Green Arrow. So each of them come with a little card, which is pretty cool. McFarlane always do like including cards in their action figures, and that just includes a little picture of them from their cartoon, and then the Green Lantern's just fallen down, and the rest of the figures in the line, which is Batman, Lex Luthor and Green Lantern, who I have here, the Riddler and Sinestro in their cartoon accurate costumes and colours. And that's the one of Hal Jordan. See, the black isn't coloured there. That's probably how they cheaped out back in the day with the animation style. So yeah, the cards don't have any bios or stats or anything about them, but nonetheless pretty good to include anyway. Let's just pop Green Lantern here up. So the joints are pretty stiff, you'll probably notice as you get them, so not going to do it now, but they're a bit squeaky like that. But they're actually a bit more flexible than I always imagined. They're a bit more yeah, the joints and stuff, even though they are stiff, that'll be fine with a bit more play and posing. They'll get back to it. But they've just got single, articulation, single joints on the knees and elbows. Got a bit of waist swivel, and on the hips there as well. The wrist swivel, and neck swivel, and butterfly joints on the arms. So yeah, I mean, they're kind of, I guess they're not exactly meant to be the most posable and flexible figures, because they are meant to evoke that retro style, which they certainly do. And these colours and stuff are very accurate to the cartoon of the time. I do remember watching the cartoon thinking, wow, that Green Lantern's got a nice tan. And this was a very 70s style Lex Luthor costume with the flared collar, little jet boots there, and the green gloves, and the lovely smirk on his bald face. So yeah, pretty cool. So Lex Luthor and Green Lantern, and they both come with some cool accessories too. So Lex comes with a little, I guess that's a communicator type thing. Very simple, 2 buttons, or maybe it's to control the lift up and down, and this looks like some kind of key or laser or jackhammer or something. I'm sure if we watch the cartoon it would appear in one of the episodes. And Green Lantern has a baseball bat and also a little communicator. So I think all the Justice League members come with this kind of cool looking communicator, and he does have a bat here somewhere. There we go, Green Lantern's construct, which is a baseball bat. Hey, you have all the power and imagination, but you keep it simple, I guess. So it's interesting that they've painted his eyes, because I don't know if he actually had pupils in the actual cartoon behind his mask there, but fair enough. And yeah, it's interesting that they've actually, I'm very happy they've painted the Green Lantern ring. They don't come with interchangeable heads or hands, so they both have one closed fist and one open hand to hold their accessories. One of the other things I noticed, which is quite interesting, is the card back doesn't actually say the character names anywhere on there, unless I'm missing something. Obviously it says it on their cards, which you can't see in the packet, but yeah, the card back is the same for all of them, but it's got that very familiar rainbowy colour intro from the cartoon. But I like these figures. I don't think I'm going to get all of them, but for what they are, simple throwbacks, definitely nostalgic. These are very much a smash to the nostalgic button of the 80s and 70s. So for a bit of context, the Super Friends and Superpower shows, they were animated series, and yeah, done by Hanna-Barbera, and they were released from 1973 to 1985. So there were 9 seasons, and the early seasons from the 70s were pretty silly and cheesy, and they got it, I guess, slightly more serious towards the end. The Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show, and the Superpowers team Galactic Guardians were the last two seasons. So basically they would retool them every season with add in new characters and that kind of thing, and new villains. And these two from 1984 and 1985 is what got me hooked when I was a little kid, sitting in front of the TV on Saturday mornings. Good times for sure. So yeah, I picked these up on DVD quite a while ago, but I'm sure they're all streaming on Max or Netflix or something or other. But yes, for a lot of people my age, I'm sure this was the introduction to the DC roster of heroes at the time. This figure arrived today, so I thought I'd throw it in this video as well. So this is Green Lantern Hal Jordan in his armoured suit. So this is from McFarlane Toys, from their DC Multiverse line, and basically this is in the Death and Return and the Reign of the Superman storyline from 1992-1993, and this is Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, when he basically just used his power ring and made himself a suit of armour to fight Mongol and the War World. So let's open this up and have a closer look at good old Hal. So he very briefly appears in this outfit in the Death and Return and Reign of the Superman storyline. Hal Jordan, probably one of the most famous Green Lanterns. So like all of the McFarlane figures, he comes with a little trading card with the same image that's on the back, and this is the panel that he appears in the comic, and a bit of a bio about why he appears in this outfit. Come with a figure stand, a little peg hole, which they always need, and yes, he comes with a hammer, and relatively accurate to what he appears in the comic. And on the back you can see the little discs on the arms, the kind of shoulder pads and stuff are a bit more detailed on the figure, and he's got the mask, the helmet is pretty accurate, so relatively similar. I don't know what this stuff on the back is, but yes, I do like the green colours, and you can see that they've added some shading on the torso and on some of the legs there, which I'm not a big fan of. I guess it just gives them a bit more of a 3D kind of effect. It gives a bit more shading and depth, but because this is pretty much a figure which is all green apart from the head, it gives it a bit more depth, and it allows it to stand out a bit more. But yes, no extra hands, no extra head, very flexible, multiple joints, which are double jointed shoulders, double jointed elbows and knees, all the good stuff. And yeah, because I'm such a big fan of this storyline in the comics, where Superman dies and comes back to life, I had to get this figure. And I'm going to bring in a steel, because you may recognize some of the body parts on here. It uses a lot of the similar molding, so let's bring in steel, also from the same storyline, and see how similar these two figures are. So steel on the left, obviously, and Hal Jordan on the right, and you can see that the boots and the belt, basically everything from the belt down is the same, and the shoulder pauldrons are the same as well, and he's just got a new overlay on the chest. And yeah, so the gauntlets are different, but it looks like the hands, the gloves are the same on both figures. So probably 70 to 80% of the Green Lantern figure is reused from the steel figure, but it's close enough to what he actually looks like in the comics, so I actually don't mind it. There's a lot of talk in the action figure industry about how expensive it actually is to make new molds. So if they can reuse and most of it and get a new character, I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, the gauntlets are new, the chest piece is new, and obviously the head is new. The hammer is the same. But yeah, pretty happy. One of my favourite storylines from DC Comics, as I said. I didn't think I'd get a very specific Green Lantern in his all armoured up outfit, so happy to add that. So well done, McFarlane Toys. At the back we have the new Superman figure, which also ties into the Death and Return of Superman storyline. He's from McFarlane Toys as well, the Superpowers line of retro figures, thrown back to the classic Superpowers line from the 80s. But before we talk about Superman, these four figures are from the previous wave, also from McFarlane Toys Superpowers line of figures as well. So just quickly talk about them. So we've got Lobo, who Jason Momoa will be starring as in the upcoming Supergirl film. So this is, I think, the first Superpowers figure from McFarlane to have an actual cloth jacket. But yeah, this is the Superman animated series look of the figure rather than how he appears in the comics. So that's a bit of an odd choice. Perhaps that's a licensing thing, I don't know. Very chunky, one of the chunkiest figures we've got. Right next to him we have Jason Todd as Robin. So you can tell by the haircut, and also at the back of the packaging says so. So this is Jason Todd Robin, who is the second Robin in the Batman line. None of these figures come with any accessories, which is standard, unfortunately. Right next to him we have the Atom, the guy that goes small, Ray Palmer, the Atom in the classic red and blue. So all of these are favourite characters of mine. And lastly we have one of the speedsters, Jay Garrick, knocking over. He's running so fast, it's knocking all the other characters over. So this is the golden age, the 1940s superhero known as the Flash, and he's got some grey temples, grey hair coming through there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, these 4 figures are all from the Superpowers line, which has a lovely colourful addition to the shelf. Now let's look at a lack of colour and look at the black and silver Superman. We're really staying on brand with the Death of Superman storyline. So when Superman appeared back to life after he died in the 1992 DC Comics storyline, he appeared in an all black suit. As we know, Superman gets his powers from the sun, and black is the colour which absorbs the sun. So pretty accurate to what he looks like in his comics, with some wonderful artwork, which I don't think I've seen before, and all the wonderful checklist, very retro, old school style, and then a bit of a bio. So yeah, 51 figures so far. That's awesome to see. They McFarlane Toys are pumping these out pretty quickly. Anyway, let's open up Superman with his lovely long hair and black suit, see what he's all about. Here he is. So very simple costume. Got the silver bracelets, the 2-colour silver symbol, and basically it's just a black bodysuit and the silver on the toes as well. No cape, longer hair, because obviously, as we know, hair and fingernails grow when you die, so very on point, I guess. Just a simple 7 points of articulation, so head, 2 shoulders, the hips and the knees. So not exactly modern articulation, but certainly keeping in with the retro style. I love the expression on his face. I love the long hair, the mullet. It's a pretty good sculpt, actually. We've seen this Superman sculpt many times in a lot of different variations. But as I said, I'm pretty nostalgic about the Death of Superman storyline. So yeah, here we go. Mullet, back from the dead Superman. One more for the growing McFarlane Toys Superpowers line of action figures on my shelf. On the right is Superman Unlimited #1, which is the first new ongoing Superman series from DC Comics in years and years, I believe. And this is a good starting point, written by Dan Slott with art by Raphael Albuquerque, and a wonderful variant cover by Dan Mora, starring the writer and director James Gunn and David Corenswet, the new Superman actor. So in this pages of this issue, Superman, well, basically an asteroid made of kryptonite, and his whole life flashes before his eyes, and he gains some interesting new powers by the looks of it at the end of the issue. So if you are curious about Superman ahead of the new film, this is a good time to learn all about what is happening and what has been happening lately in the pages of his comics. And also, if you want to recap, Superman The Ultimate Guide is from Dorling Kindersley. They've been putting out these coffee table books for decades. I've got the Spider-Man and X-Men one, as well as and Justice League and Catwoman one. All of those are from the 90s. This is the first new guide from Dorling Kindersley that I've bought since then. And this is a good intro to his powers, his publishing history, all his different costumes, the friends and foes. So yeah, it's pretty interesting because I'm not really up to date on all that's happening in the pages of DC Comics as of late. So I'm looking forward to reading that. But yeah, pick both of these up if you're curious about where Superman is and where he's come from ahead of the new film opening in July. Thank you for watching all the way to the end as always. Thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully the new Superman film is going to be awesome, and the world will be filled with new Superman fans. Who knows? But yes, I'm cautiously optimistic that James Gunn can certainly give us a rousing cinematic experience starring my favourite superhero, Superman.